Secretary Driscoll, General George, welcome. We're glad to have you here today. The Army I have always had a special appreciation for because my father was a World War II combat veteran who was wounded twice in the Battle of the Bulge. Recently, with some of my colleagues, I had the opportunity to attend the 80th commemoration of that historic battle. It was very moving. The Army's 250th birthday parade was also a cause for commemoration and celebration. And during that parade, there was the public unveiling of the Ripsaw robotic combat vehicle. This vehicle is built in Waterboro, Maine, by a very small, innovative, brilliant firm, the kind of company that we need more of in our industrial base so that we are not so dependent on just some prime contractors and a few smaller firms that are in the supply chain. It's more than a few, I realize, but we need more firms that are actually producing what the Army needs. It's very interesting to read a report on the Ripsaw vehicle. It is described by this reporter as signaling a clear step forward in the U.S. Army's path toward next-generation warfare dominated by robotic and unmanned systems. It goes on to say this vehicle is not only the product of innovation, but also a testament to mature program execution, combining robust industrial support with real-world deployment readiness. It is ideal for modern battlefields where surprise, speed, and stealth define success. So they go on to say that it marked a tangible shift in the Army's commitment to embracing unmanned ground combat capacities as a core component of future warfare. I've reviewed the classified assessments of robotic engagements, and I understand the threat landscape posed by drones and autonomous platforms. Yet the Army remains behind in fielding robotic and autonomous systems. And this is why we were so excited when the robotic combat vehicle was selected, when it won a down select over large primes, over other companies, because it is the one funded program that shows real promise, and it could have served as a foundation for future innovation, and it's ready to go today. Mr. Secretary, how does walking away from years of development specifically designed to integrate with other Army platforms put the Army on a credible path to innovation? And when exactly will our soldiers deploy with robotic systems that not only enhance lethality and support counter-UAS operations, but protect what we value most, our soldiers' lives?
Senator, I believe, and I was writing the note to make sure, I think that How and How was acquired by Textron. And so before I make this comment, I want to disclaim. So we met with that leadership team to talk about this. And just from a high level, any business so far, or the vast majority that have reached out to us when a decision has caused them harm, we are trying to help them bridge to what the Army needs. And so I just very publicly want to state the defense industrial base is weak. We need to grow it, and we are trying to be thoughtful in this. Then specifically to your question, the robotic combat vehicle that was demonstrated in the parade is an incredible piece of engineering capability. The fundamental problem is what General George was referencing, the cost curve. So an $800 drone with a very cheap munition can take out a $3 million piece of equipment endlessly. And what we, the United States Army, have done very poorly in the last 30 or 40 years is we keep building exquisite pieces of equipment that we cannot, even as one of the wealthiest nations in the history of the world, sustain at scale. And so, unfortunately, what happened with the RCV is it is the classic case of the Army doing a very bad job to ourselves. We came out with too many requirements. It took too long. By the time it was built, it was too expensive. When we contrast that with the things that are working, as long as the vehicle or the tool or the asset can be driven by wire, there are a lot of software companies now that can basically take, like we had one take an existing Humvee, we had it take our infantry squad vehicle, and in 10 days they can make it autonomous. And that's the type of cost curve we can afford, is to go out and find things that are already being purchased by consumers and translate them over to military cases. And so for the vast majority of the things we need to purchase today to counterbalance all of the exquisite things we've purchased in the past, we have got to be buying cheap, attributable, scalable solutions. And unfortunately for the RCV, it's just not one of them.
Well, two comments back to you on that. One, it's the height of irony that you would feature this combat vehicle in your parade as the future of the Army at the same time that you've canceled the contract. The cancellation of a contract that was won over a lot of other competitors. Second, this is equipped with anti-drone technology. And third, drones are a threat to all sorts of vehicles. This one is autonomous. You're not going to lose a soldier's life if it's taken out. I think you should review this decision. I think it was terribly unfair and a real mistake. Thank you, Mr. Chair.